Here, and we are here for the final part 5 of our Change Your Mind, Change Your Life series. We have spent the last 4 weeks going through everything that you need to know about adjusting your mindset so that you can have your best life possible. Over the last 4 weeks, we've spent a great deal of time focusing on how our thoughts and emotions create our reality, how the stories of our minds become the stories of our life. We have spent a great deal of time focusing on the mechanics of how that works, and the law of attraction. We have spent time talking about the conversations we have with ourselves all day, every day. We have spent a great deal of time talking about how we will never live beyond, we will never create a life bigger than the self-image we have. And so if we want to have a better life than what we currently have, what we've learned is that we know we have to change our thoughts and our emotions. What we've learned is that we know we have to have better conversations with ourselves all day, every day. We know that if we create the story of what we want in our heads and live as if we already have that, eventually that is going to manifest into reality. And we learned how important it is that if we want a new or different life, that we have to break the habit of being who we are today. We have to become somebody else. We have to grow a different self-image, a new personality. Our new personality is going to create a new personal reality. So we have covered a ton of stuff over the last 4 weeks, and today is the final section that we're going to cover. So I broke up today's program into 2 sections. The first half, I want to spend a little time just talking about a book by Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer was a phenomenal thought leader, and he's one of those people that when I feel myself getting into a negative spot in my business or my life, I will Google or YouTube Wayne Dyer and find some great video content just to get my head back into where it needs to be. So I'm going to spend half of today's program talking about some of the teachings of Wayne Dyer. And the second half of the program, I just condensed a bunch of things that you can work on, like steps you can take so that you could start manifesting the life you deserve. What we've done over the last 5 weeks is that I've sprinkled in some of those steps throughout each program, but the second half of today's program is just basically us listing off, like, these are the things you need to be doing on a daily and weekly basis in order to get your mind where it needs to be so that you could start manifesting all the great things that you deserve in your life. So the first thing I want to talk about is that one of the things that Wayne Dyer talks about is that manifestation, if you want to manifest good things in your life, you're going to manifest better things if you are happy. So no matter what, you're manifesting. So all day, every day, like, the stories of your mind become the stories of your life. So you're manifesting no matter what. But you're manifesting better things if you find yourself in, like, a constant state of happiness and joy. And so what he talks about is that within us as humans, we have something called serotonin. So interestingly, serotonin is something that when people feel sad a lot or depressed, doctors will prescribe them medications that have serotonin, because basically it mimics our natural serotonin so that we can feel happy. So serotonin is the drug that makes you feel good. It's what all the pharmaceutical companies pump into antidepressants. It's also a drug that is pumped through our brains when we do things that make us happy. So when you do something kind for someone else, the person you're helping They have a serotonin release when you do something for someone else. Not only that, you have a serotonin release, and then also third-party person that might be watching the exchange, they have a serotonin release. So think about that, because we need to be in a happy place consistently and constantly if we want to be manifesting good things into our lives. And one easy way to do that is to make sure we always have serotonin being released into our bodies. One simple way to do that is to be doing acts of kindness for other people. Wayne Dyer also talks about the importance of acting as if. We've spent time on this through the last 4 weeks, saying that in order to manifest what you want in your life, you have to spend time living in your head as if you've already accomplished whatever you want. So this is, I want you to be constantly living in a state of happiness, and you can manufacture the happiness by going out and doing kind things for people. And picturing in your head, in your own head, like living as if you've already created the life that you want. One thing I want you to realize is that when it comes to the art of manifestation, the universe begins attracting to you whatever it is that you happen to be thinking about. So if you are thinking about, for example, that you don't want to get stuck in traffic today, so you leave your house and you feel some anxiety or emotion, and you say to yourself, please don't let me get stuck in traffic, please don't let me get stuck in traffic. What you are manifesting is traffic. So what gets manifested is whatever the thought is. So be careful of the negative thought. Let's say that you need to leave your house, and in order to be on time, you need to manifest clear roads. Then you should be thinking about, oh, I'm on my way out the door. Today I'm going to hit clear path the entire way. Because whatever the thought is, if you are thinking about traffic, you will manifest traffic. If you are thinking about clear pathways all the way to your destination, you will manifest clear pathways to your destination. So let's think about who you want to be, what kind of life you want to live, and don't think in terms of negatives. Do not think in terms of what you don't want, because that means that you are putting energy into something. You're going to manifest that thing that you don't want because you're putting energy into what you don't want. Instead, think of the opposite of that. Think of what it is you are about to attract into your life. What Dyer also says is, he points out that we as humans tend to go about our day not realizing how amazing every human being is. And so, like he says, if you want to create happiness, because if you are in a state of sorrow or sadness or fear, then that's stuff you're going to attract into your life. I was talking to a real estate agent yesterday, and she was like, I keep having like this string of bad things happen to me. And when she said that, I said, I don't know what's going on in your personal life or your business life, but I promise you that running through your body. One of the most effective means of transcending ordinary and moving into the realm of extraordinary is, he says, that you have to start saying yes more frequently and eliminating no almost completely. What Dyer says is that if you want to manifest great things in your life, that means that you have to be a person that says yes to change. That means that he said the first small step that you can take is if you tend to be the person that when your friends ask you, do you want to go out this Friday? And you're like, nah, I'm too tired, I'm going to stay home. He said the first step to changing your life is to be the person that when opportunity is presented to you, you got to say yes. He said, start saying yes to life. By the way, this plays into everything we've been speaking about for the last 4 weeks. What we've said is that in order to accomplish your big dream, in order to live a better and different life than you currently have, then you have to start saying yes to opportunity, because that's you breaking out of your old personality. The old you would have said, no, I'm not available Friday night, I can't go. Or somebody invites you on a trip to go to a real estate conference or any type of conference. And the old you would have said, nah, I can't, I don't have the money, blah, blah, blah. All that's just negative thoughts going in your head. What I want you to think about as we end out this 5-part program, where are the little opportunities that you can begin to say yes to life? Where you can begin to saying, yeah, I'm going to go out with my friends this Friday night. Normally I would say no, because it's easier to do what I've always done, which is just hang out at home. When somebody invites you and says, hey, I'm going to see this awesome speaker, sales speaker on how to grow my business. Do you want to go? Maybe the old you would have said no, but the new you says yes to life because you are breaking out of your old personality. One of the stories I have shared a couple of times throughout the program is when many years ago, or about 4 years ago, I was invited to attend a mission trip to Haiti. And it was for the Be Like Brit Foundation. And Brittany Gengel was a girl that had passed away in the earthquake in Haiti in 2010. So January 2010, roughly, there was a massive earthquake in Haiti. And Brittany Gengel was from the Worcester area of Massachusetts, and she was like 19 years old and was over in Haiti doing some work at an orphanage. 45 minutes before the earthquake, she sent a text message to her parents and said that she felt her life's work was working with these orphanages in Haiti, because what she found is that the people in Haiti were so thankful for everything they had, even though to an American they seemed to have so little. And so Brittany sent that text message to her parents, and then Brittany died in the earthquake 45 minutes later. Anyways, her family has built a magnificent orphanage in Haiti since that time. The orphanage took in 66 children, so 33 boys, 33 girls. Many of those kids were displaced because their parents and families passed away in the earthquake. So I was invited on this mission trip roughly 4 years ago, and I said yes to the trip. And then as soon as I said yes to the trip and I started telling people, I had everybody around me, including my family, say, are you crazy? You're going to go to Haiti? Do you know in Haiti they kidnap Americans and you're going to be lucky to make it out of there alive? And so I canceled my trip to Haiti. I was so mad at myself for about a year that I let other people plant seeds of fear into me. That the following year, I then signed up again to go to the trip to Haiti. And because I felt like people kind of pushed me or made me feel fear to an opportunity that was forcing me the year before to say no to life. So the following year, I said, you know what? I'm going to say yes to life. I'm going to say yes to this trip to Haiti. So the next year I did the same thing. I signed up. Same thing happened. Everybody around me is like, you're crazy. They send me like articles of people that got kidnapped in Haiti. And I said, you know what? I don't care. I'm still going to Haiti. Anyways, what I'll say about the trip to Haiti is it was one of the most moving trips I've ever taken. And that I believe when I'm on my deathbed, like that's going to be one of those trips that I'm going to be so thankful that I took. Like, I have such great memories, such beautiful memories that came out of that trip. And I look at it and I'm like, wow, I'm so thankful I seized an opportunity and I said yes to life and kind of broke myself out of a shell of saying no. Listen, the easy thing to do in your life every day, the easy thing to do every day is to wake up and be just like you were yesterday. The easy thing to do is to go home on Friday night, go watch a bunch of TV shows, wake up Saturday, do the same thing again. Like, the hard thing in life is asking yourself, having a real conversation and saying to yourself, you know what? I'm sick of being the person I was last year. I am sick of being that same person, making the same income, living the same life. And so I cannot be the same person. I have to break out of those old habits. What Wayne Dyer says is one of the ways to do that is you got to start saying yes to opportunity. So the next time somebody reaches out and says, hey, you want to go do this with me? And I know your inclination's going to be like, no, I'm too busy. I don't have enough money. I don't have time, blah, blah, blah. I want you to take a chance and say yes. So this is just a quote on here from Wayne Dyer shared. I rarely let the word no escape from my mouth because it is so plain to my soul that God has shouted yes, yes, yes to every movement in existence. So you want to change your personality? You want to break the habit of being you? Then be the person that says yes to every opportunity that comes your way. This is another quote. This was shared in Wayne Dyer's book. You were born with potential. You were born with goodness and trust. You were born with ideals and dreams. You were born with greatness. You were born with wings. You are not meant for crawling, so don't. You have wings. Learn to use them and fly. I share it because I know some of you that are watching this program, you've been crawling through life. Like, be the person when somebody calls you and says, do you want to go to this training event with me? Or do you want to go see this speaker with me? You got to fly. You got to get up and figure out a way to pay for it. Figure out a way to say yes. What Dyer also talks about, a lot of his stuff is all about like going back to like, to manifest great things in your life, you got to have that serotonin, the good thing, like the good flow through your own body. And so he says one of the ways that you can do that or to live on purpose is by serving others. When you're giving to others, to your planet and to the source, you're being purposeful. What is it that you do that you'd be motivated to do no matter what, even if there was no income attached, etc. What is it that you would do every day that you wouldn't even care about the outcome of it? You just love doing it so much because you're passionate about it. Go do more of that, because that's when you are attracting the best for your life. When you're in those moments of joy, or even those moments where time passes so quickly, you don't even notice it because it's what you love to do so much. And we've talked about this before as well. Sometimes we're like so goal oriented, like what we've said multiple times throughout the last several weeks is we humans have to let go a little bit. Trust that the universe is going to figure out a way. You don't have to be the one to understand how it's all going to play out on your behalf. Just trust that the universe has your back. So a quote that came from Wayne Dyer's book, The Power of Intention, is don't aim at success. The more you aim at it and make it a target, the more you're going to miss it. For success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue. And it only does so as the unintended side effect of one's personal dedication to a course greater than oneself, or as a byproduct of one's surrender to a person other than oneself. Happiness must happen, and the same holds for success. You have to let it happen by not caring about it. I want you to listen to what your conscience commands you to do and go on to carry it out to the best of your knowledge. Then you will live to see that in the long run, success will follow you precisely because you had forgotten to think about it. So a couple of pieces there I want you to take away is, like, first of all, let go. Even if you have a big goal or a goal that it's hard to believe that you can get there, like, let go. Just trust that the universe is going to figure out a way for you to get there. By the way, this is a fantastic book, Man's Search for Meaning, by Viktor Frankl. So this is one man's story of living in a concentration camp and how he made the best of it. Literally, his wife died in the concentration camp, and the point of the book is that nobody can hold you prisoner unless you are a prisoner, unless you let them hold you prisoner. Like he said, in my mind, I was never a prisoner. So he made the best of a really terrible situation. So think about what it is you're trying to get in life. As far as the law of attraction goes, you must be what it is that you are seeking. This is a universe of attraction and energy. You can't have a desire to attract a mate who's confident, generous, non-judgmental, and gentle, and expect that desire to be manifested if you're thinking and acting in a non-confident, selfish, judgmental, or arrogant ways. What are you seeking? Who are you being? Are they matched? I also want you to think about this as far as money. I've said multiple times that money screws up with people's heads. And even though we say we have good thoughts about money, many of us do not have good thoughts about money. So what I want you to think about, like if you're taking this program because you want to be a $10 million producing agent, and you go home in the afternoons and you clip coupons to save money, I want you to tell you right now that you're not living as if you have plenty of money in your head, because what we've said is the story of your mind becomes the story of your life. So if you're earning $500,000, you have to be living that in your own head. So if you're going home every day and you're spending an hour clipping coupons, then there is a mismatch between the vibrational energy of what you're attracting and who you're being at that moment, which means you're not going to attract what you want. The same is true if you find yourself or catch yourself ever saying, I can't afford it. So in your own head, you're living as if you're making $500,000 a year. If you're making $500,000 a year and somebody reaches out to you and says, hey, do you want to go to the Inman conference with me? Because there's going to be all kinds of cool real estate technology. And if your first thought or the first words out of your mouth are, I cannot afford it, I could tell you you're not living in your head as if you're earning $500,000 a year. It doesn't mean go out and spend money frivolously. I'm just saying be very careful about the thoughts you have around money. Try to catch yourself in the words you say about money. Very rarely will you catch me saying the words, I can't afford something. Does it mean I can afford everything in the world? Well, this is what I think. For all of us, everybody listening, I think for most things that you want in the world, you could figure out a way to buy it if you wanted it. So instead of saying you can't afford it to yourself, say, I choose not to buy it right now. It's something I'm going to look at in the future. So when I'm approached with something, I would never say to myself, I cannot afford it, because that means that I am mismatched. The energy within me is mismatched to what I'm trying to create. So never say I can't afford it. Be careful if you're spending a great deal of time always trying to save money or to cut coupons, because you might be creating a mismatch of vibrational energy. Wayne Dyer also talks about the 7 phases of intention. So he says, live with these thoughts going through your head all day, every day. I am creativity, kindness, love, beauty, expansion, unlimited abundance, and receptivity. I am creativity, I am kindness, I am love, I am beauty, I am expansion, I am unlimited abundance, and receptivity. So when you find yourself feeling a sensation of lack, that you don't have enough money, or that you can't accomplish something, I challenge you to immediately switch those thoughts to these. So if you find a moment that you don't have the money to pay rent, or you don't have the money to pay your car payment, instead of focusing on that, I want you to switch your thoughts to, I am creativity, I am kindness, I am love, I am beauty, I am expansion, I am unlimited abundance, and I am receptivity. You cannot attract miracles or good things into your life if you're thinking in terms of lack. So thinking about these 7 phases of intention, I want you to think about, how can you be more creative today? How can you be more kind today? How can you appreciate beauty more today? How can you embrace the expansion of our universe and grow today? How can you flow with the unlimited abundance of the world today? How can you open up to the world more today? So when you feel feelings of lack, that you don't have enough of something, I want you to start really focusing on these 7 phases of intention, and I want you to start looking for proof that that's not true, that you can afford stuff. So let's just say you're having a moment where you feel lack, and you say, I feel like I don't have any money to buy something right now, or I don't have enough money to pay my rent, or I don't have enough money to pay my car payment. Instead of focusing on those thoughts, I want you to start thinking of, or looking for proof that you have more than enough money. So for example, saying to yourself, you know what, I actually do have some money. I do have decent credit. I do have a big tax refund coming. I do have a job. So I want you to start looking for the opposite of that thought, like all the proof around you that you are absolutely abundant. You have to live in spirit. This just means if you've ever felt inspired by a purpose or calling, you know the feeling of spirit working through you. Inspired. What inspires you? When do you feel the spirit working through you? Find ways to feel it more. Start empowering people. Figure out a way to be around people who empower you as well. Choose to be in close proximity to people who are empowering, who appeal to your sense of connection, to intention, who see the greatness in you, who live a life that gives evidence that spirit has found celebration through them. This sentiment is echoed throughout the wisdom of all the great teachers. All the great teachers will say that you are who you spend a great deal of time with. So as you're embracing these new ideas and the law of attraction and manifestation and how important our thoughts are to creating the life that we want, I want you to ask yourself, are you spending time with people who have similar thoughts? Because otherwise it's going to be hard for you to maintain these positive thoughts, to continue to maintain a positive law of attraction if you are constantly around people that don't believe it or don't practice it. I want you guys to, and we've said this in other classes too, stop comparing yourself to other people, or there is no norm when it comes to a human being. Stop competing with other people. Just be a creator. Go out and look for ways to become a better version of you than you were yesterday. There is no competition in your business. There is no competition in your life. There's no way for us as humans to compare ourselves to other humans, because every human in and of itself is a miracle, something amazing, and we cannot compare ourselves, like one snowflake cannot compare itself to another snowflake. I want you to start deleting fear from your life. In fact, what I want you to look at, just like that story I just shared about Haiti, I want you to, when you feel fear about something, I want you to step back, and instead of letting the fear stop you from moving forward, instead of letting the fear cause you to say no to another opportunity, I want you to just delete it and say, today I choose not to feel fear. I'm going to say yes to this opportunity. And by doing so, you're going to start living a different life. You're going to start creating the new personality you need in order to live a better and different life. You are going to start creating the new self-image. So we spent an entire module talking about psycho-cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. And he said you can never live beyond who you believe yourself to be in your own head. So if you're going to start building your self-image, transitioning out of your old personality, you need to start banishing doubt. You need to start trusting your intuition so that you can clear a space for the power of intention to flow through you. Shakespeare once said, our doubts are traitors, and they make us lose the good we often might win by fearing to attempt. Another great quote, doubts arise because of an absence of surrender. When you learn to start trusting that the universe has your back, when you learn to start trusting that there's going to be a way, like whatever your goal is that you're focusing on, just trusting that it's going to happen, you're going to see that you start manifesting the things you want. What holds people back from manifesting the life they want is those little doubts, those little fears. Sometimes we fear, like even getting our hopes up. I don't want to put this out to the universe. And then we start having these thoughts like, well, I'll be okay if it doesn't actually happen. And now you've just lost any momentum you had towards achieving that manifestation because you just let doubt in. So you got to let go of the doubt. You got to let go of the fear. And then always, always, always do the thing you fear. And what is certain is that you will kill the fear. You will not kill the opportunity. So Dyer shared a story in his book that the brothers didn't contemplate the staying on the ground of things. Alexander Graham Bell did not contemplate or think about the non-communication of things. Thomas Edison didn't contemplate the darkness of things. In order to float an idea into reality, you must be willing to do a somersault into the unconceivable and land on your feet, contemplating what you want instead of what you don't want. I said this earlier, that the thoughts that come in your head, the thoughts that manifest, they don't take the negative side of it. So if you're always thinking about what you don't want to happen, you're going to attract that into your life. So you have to have positive thoughts. Don't think about what you don't want, because you're going to attract what you don't want. Think only about what you want. Like the Wright brothers just thought about flying. That's how they became great in their field. Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, like anybody that created greatness, they didn't contemplate the non-happening of that. They only contemplated the happening of that. The law of flotation was not discovered by contemplating the sinking of things, but by contemplating the floating of things, which floated naturally and then intelligently, and asking why they did so. What do you want to float out into the universe? Try to catch yourself when you're focused on how your idea might sink, and bring yourself back to the place of contemplating the success of your idea. That's how you float. This is a sign that Wayne Dyer had in his daughter's room as she was growing up, because what he wanted to instill in his daughter is this idea of surrender. So he had this little framed picture that she would wake up and see every day, and it would say, "Good morning, this is God. I will be handling all of your problems today. I will not need your help, so relax and have a great day." Just going back to that idea of surrender. So much of this is from Dr. Wayne Dyer's book, The Power of Intention, Learning to Co-Create Your World Your Way. He has several books. He has several audio tapes. If you Google Wayne Dyer on YouTube, you're going to find so much content. Like I said, when I find myself getting into a negative state of mind, he's one of my go-to people that I go on to YouTube and I Google Wayne Dyer, and I find great content. I find meditation videos by Wayne Dyer where he walks you through meditations, and he's got some unbelievable content out there about the power of creating the life you want by using the law of attraction and manifestation. So for the next 23 minutes or so, I want to talk about next steps. We've sprinkled these throughout the entire 5-week program, but I wanted to just leave you like 23 minutes of strict content on things you can do to positively make shifts in your mindset now that you know how important it is to have an awesome mindset, to live in happiness and joy, to practice kindness, that we know any of those stories we're creating in our head are becoming the stories of your life. The life you live right at this moment is a byproduct of the thoughts you've had up until now. So if you are unhappy with what you've created so far, here's the steps to take to create what you want. So your next steps. First, I want everybody to really closely examine your beliefs about you. A good way to do this is to start writing out all of your strengths. So in business and life, what are all your strengths? Then I want you to think about what are all of your weaknesses, and make a huge list of all of your weaknesses. Then I want you to pick 1 or 2 weaknesses, and I want you to start disproving those. So I've shared a bunch of things that I had in my own head over the years. One of those is I used to tell myself that I am an introvert, I am not outgoing, I am a terrible networker, and I am not a good salesperson. That was a thought that I would have in my head. Why does it matter? Because that's how I showed up every day. To every appointment, to every networking event I went to, I would show up with this thought that I am not a salesperson, I am not a networker, I am an introvert. So I started looking for ways to disprove that. What I will tell you is today I believe none of that. I believe I am outgoing, I am a networker, I am a salesperson, and all of that affects how I show up. I have a different personality than I used to have because of the thought I have about myself and my own self-image. I promise you, every single person listening to this class, I promise you, you definitely have perceived weaknesses that are not really your weaknesses at all. So I want you to start disproving your weaknesses. I want you to start questioning why you ever even thought it was a weakness, because some of those perceived weaknesses, when you realize those were never a weakness at all, it was something that kind of got implanted into you because of maybe one failure you had many years ago or something somebody said to you. When you start unlocking some of those perceived weaknesses, realizing they weren't weaknesses at all, you begin to grow that new self-image, that new personality, and all of that affects what you're going to manifest into your life, and it affects the way you show up and interact and communicate on a daily basis. So the first thing I want everybody to take away from our 5-week program is I want you to make those lists of strengths and weaknesses. And I want you to disprove those weaknesses. Not only do I think you're going to disprove several weaknesses, I think you're going to disprove most, if not all, of the weaknesses that you've perceived about yourself. We talked about this several weeks ago. We talked about staging your mental apartment. So what I said is that we all live inside our heads all day. So we have like this apartment that we have in our heads. We live in that all day. Interestingly, most of the furniture we have in our mental apartment, like these thoughts and beliefs we have in our mental apartment, were put there by someone else. So by other people as we were growing up, by grammar school teachers putting a little bit of information in our heads at an age where we tended to believe it. So a lot of the stuff in our mental apartment that we live in all day is just implanted there by someone else, and we didn't put it there, and it's not true. So I want you to start restaging the mental apartment. I want you to start questioning why you believe what you believe all the time. When you're driving around and you have conversations with people, I want you to pick apart little things that you say and little things that you think and start saying, like, is that really true? One thing that I do for myself on a daily basis is I spend 1 hour a day with my head in the right place. So for me, what that means is I spend 1 hour a day reading. It's a tiny little habit I created many years ago. I think that it's one habit that has had a great amount of influence over my life. The benefits of it is it's not that time consuming. It's basically an hour every day where I'm like not in a negative state. I'm not in a positive state. I'm just in a learning state. I get out of my head. So I kind of move out of my head for 1 hour every day because I'm inside a book, learning something. So find an opportunity to get out of your head for an hour a day and learn something. I want you to think about the compound effect in your life, like how different your life will look like 10 years from now if you begin today taking 1 hour or even a half an hour a day reading great content. I want you to start listening to stuff that makes you think. So think about this. If you listen to the news every day, I've said I very rarely listen to the news because I think that it's all very negative and useless information that does not affect my life. So I very rarely listen to the news. I usually find out my news by somebody telling me, or occasionally I'll see it on a Facebook feed. But otherwise, I would not sit and watch a news program because it's useless, negative information being fed into me. So I do my best to make sure that I'm always feeding positive content into my head. Some of the ways that I do that is I do listen to Abraham Daily on YouTube. And you're gonna have your own things that you listen to make sure that your head is in a great space for manifesting. When I'm listening to this kind of stuff, I know that I have the serotonin running through me. I'm in a great space. I'm in a happy space. Abraham Daily. Abraham is, I don't know what to call it. So Esther Hicks is a person who speaks to or lets like a universal source come through her and speak through her body, but it's just super informational about how to manifest things. I say go on, check it out. It's called Abraham Daily. I also use Audible a lot. When I'm driving, I typically will have Audible on to listen to books. For me, I prefer to read books because I get more out of it. But when I'm driving, I don't want the news in the background or negative stuff. So I always have a book that's playing. I listen to motivational stuff like The Power of Intention by Wayne Dyer. Another go-to for me is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I listen to or watch movies like The Secret. I listen to positive music. This is what I will tell you. Do I have days that I get way down for whatever reason? Absolutely yes. I absolutely 100% have days that I hit rock bottom. What I will tell you there, about that is I never stay there for very long. I snap out of it quickly because I know the power of my thoughts, and I know that if I stay down long, I'm going to keep attracting really bad stuff into my life. I understand how my mind works. I understand the power of manifestation. So when I feel down, or I feel angry, or I feel depressed, or if I feel sad, I immediately snap out of it. And these are the ways I snap out of it. I go home and I read a book, or I put on and listen to Abraham Daily, or I put on an Audible, or I go watch a movie like The Secret to get my head back where it needs to be, or I put on music. Sometimes I do all these while I'm working out at the gym, so I also have like energy and my blood flowing through me. But what I will tell you is, as far as my brain goes, I'm never stuck in a negative state for very long because I realize how detrimental that can be. Stop comparing yourself. So another takeaway I want everybody to take from this program is stop comparing yourself to another human being. Live up to your best potential. The one caveat to that, and I've said it before, if you must compare yourself to somebody, then I want you to look at other people and say, if that's possible for them, then it's possible for me. But I never want you to look at another human being and say, that's possible for them, but it's not possible for me because by doing so, you are taking an arbitrary human. Nobody knows what's possible for you except for you. So don't compare yourself to other people. We talked earlier about start saying yes. You want to break the habit of being yourself? Step 1, start saying yes. I promise you somebody's going to call you probably in the next 24 hours and invite you, or you're going to get an invitation, and you might be predispositioned to say no because that was the old you. The old you said no to everything because it's easy to say no. It's easy to wake up today and be the same person we were yesterday. But you're on this class because you want a better life for yourself. So the first thing that you could do is next time somebody says, hey, you want to go to this, see this speaker with me? You want to go to this class? Do you want to go to this networking program? Do you want to go out with friends? Be the person that starts saying yes to opportunity because you are also saying yes to life. Meditate. So there's all kinds of great applications out there, or apps that you can download on how to meditate, even if you could do it for a minute or two a day. The great thing about meditation is it's about the idea of surrender. Like, just shut off your brain for 3 minutes a day where you force yourself, close your eyes, and don't think about anything. Don't think about good things. Don't think about bad things. Like, push all the memories away, let go of the memories, just for a few minutes. By doing so, you start allowing thoughts. So what I've noticed through my practice of meditation, and this is something that I still practice on a regular basis, what I've noticed through the practice of meditation is that I have 2 types of thoughts. I have thoughts that just come to me from the universe, and those typically come when I am meditating, when I am giving room for thoughts to come into my head because I've cleared my head of everything else. And then 90% of the other thoughts that come through are just thoughts that I have. So I'm just saying surrender a little bit, even if it's for a couple minutes a day, and surrender, stop thinking, let go of thoughts, because you never know what's going to come in when you just surrender. Make a vision board. I'm a huge advocate of having a vision board. This is just a cardboard board where you put pictures of the life you're manifesting. So you put all the photos of the life you're manifesting onto the vision board. I always put pictures of the people who I'm going to be friends with, where I'm going to live, the cars I'm going to drive, the family I'm going to have. Like, I put it all on my vision board. I have such crazy, crazy stories of vision board experiences, because when you put something out to the universe by putting it onto a vision board, now you're allowing the universe to help you get there. So you're not trying to do everything yourself. A great story I have about a vision board is one of my first vision boards I did had on it. So the movie The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. In that movie, so the movie The Secret is based on the book The Secret, and it's all about the law of attraction and manifestation. And one of the first times I ever created a vision board was after watching the movie The Secret. And in that movie, John Assaraf talked about what a vision board is. And John said, in this movie, John Assaraf, who's a speaker and he's written a bunch of books, he said many years ago, and like 10 years earlier, he had created a vision board of what his life, the life he was going to attract, and the vision board included a house. He had cut a picture of a house out of Architectural Digest magazine, and he put that on his vision board. 10 years later, he moved across the country and he was unpacking all his things, and he pulled out his vision board from a decade ago. And what he realized at that moment is that the exact house that he had cut out of Architectural Digest magazine 10 years ago and put on his vision board, that exact house was the house he was moving into across the country. So interestingly, after I watched that movie, I made my own vision board, and one of the things I put on that vision board was I was going to be friends with John Assaraf, because I love interviewing cool people. I love getting to know cool people. And so I put John Assaraf on my vision board. And throughout a couple years, I did meet him on a couple different occasions because he came out and spoke at some events. So I'd go and see his events and get my book signed and things like that. Well, anyways, in 2000, so I made that vision board in probably 2007, 2008. In 2014, my good friend Michael Mayer, who is also a best-selling author, he wrote The 7 Levels of Communication. Michael Mayer reached out to me out of the blue. I love Michael, but I don't speak to him often because he lives in a different part of the country. So we talk maybe every 4 or 5 months. We'll communicate, have a phone call. He travels the world speaking and doing training programs. And in February of 2014, I got a random call from Michael Mayer. I hadn't talked to him in 3 months. And he's like, oh, I'm calling to check in. What are you up to? And he's like, what are you doing on April 3rd? And I said, oh, I looked at my calendar. I'm like, I got nothing on April 3rd. He's like, oh, can you find a way to San Diego? I said, oh yeah, I can come to San Diego. What do you got? He's like, there's an awesome dinner party that I'm going to at John Assaraf's house. And he's like, do you know who John Assaraf is? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, do you want to go to his house for a dinner party? And I said, yes, 100%. So here I am in the house that John Assaraf talked about in The Secret that he put on his vision board. And then several years later, I'm now sitting in that house with John Assaraf because I put John Assaraf on my vision board. Like, that's stuff that you can't even make up. Like, there's no possible way that there's any explanation for any of that other than the fact that I had it on my vision board. Another thing I want you guys to leave with today is to become a teacher. So on your path to creating a great mindset and manifesting in the law of attraction, I want to encourage you guys to start teaching it. One of the best ways to get something to stick in your own head is to start teaching it to other people. So get out and teach. I want you to start hanging around with or attracting the right people. So by going out and teaching it, by the way, teaching the law of attraction and manifestation and the conversations you have in your own head, Like, you're going to see that your network, the people who you start spending the most time with, begins to change. Because there's going to be people who no longer match your vibrational thoughts and your energy. Let them fall out. They're not meant to be around you at this point of time in your life. You got to be around the right people to start manifesting the life you want. I want you guys to start trying this. Start dividing up your daily to-do list. So this is something I learned. I can't remember who I learned it from. I think it was from listening to the Abraham Daily on YouTube. And I said, all right, all this is that each day, many of you guys make a to-do list of all the things you need to do in your life, all the little things you need to control. I have a challenge for you. When you start doing that daily, I want you to take some of the things off your to-do list and put it on the universe to-do list and say, hey, universe, I can't handle this today. You take care of it. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to start to notice that weird shifts start happening. The universe is going to start taking some of those little things that you didn't have time to get to. The universe is going to take care of it. So try creating your My To-Do list each day and a to-do list for the universe. I want you to be very cognizant of the fact that your thoughts plus your emotions will equal your reality always. Whether you believe it or not, the thoughts plus emotions equal reality. Your present negative beliefs were formed by thought plus feelings. Generate enough emotion or deep feeling and your new thoughts and ideas will cancel them out. I want you to dig in. We spent some time on this today, so I won't go into it, but I want you to really dig into your beliefs about money and wealth. I want you to stop living in poverty in your head. I want you to realize when you're having thoughts. I want you to catch yourself specifically when you say to the universe or to the world or in your own head that you can't afford anything or you can't afford something. There's always a way to afford something. That doesn't mean you should go buy it. I just don't want you to have thoughts that you can't afford stuff because you will create more of that. You will manifest the inability to afford stuff into the universe. I want you to realize that your emotions that you're going through help manifest whatever you're thinking about. So understand when you are on a positive vibrational upswing, and also catch yourself when you feel irritated, doubt, anger, sadness. I want you to realize you're on a negative downward spiral of manifestation, because you could do all the things we talked about today to start getting yourself back up into the positive swing of things. You need to start catching those negative stories that you're having in your head. I want you guys to go on a thought diet. I want you to get rid of the negative thoughts. I want you to choose happiness, choose kindness, choose compassion, let go of all the other stuff. You have to start living in gratitude. So the universe, the best way to start manifesting is to show the universe how thankful you are for everything you have. So when you wake up, I want you to think about all the things you're grateful for. When you go to bed, as you fall asleep at night, I want you to think about all the things you're grateful for. And when you have quiet time throughout the day, you're driving in a car or you're sitting at an appointment, I want you to think about all the things that you are grateful for. I want you to start living as if, in your own head, I want you to start living as if you've already accomplished whatever it is you want to. And I want you to start having those positive affirmations in your head all day, every day. I want you to have thoughts like, I am a miracle magnet. I am a miracle magnet. I want you to think like, today I'm going to meet the right people at the right time for the betterment of my business and my life. I want you to have great affirmations. There's great affirmations embedded in that book, What You Say When You Talk to Yourself, which we spent an entire program on. A great tool to use. I don't even spend a lot of time on this because we have to wrap this up, but Google Focus Wheel by Esther Hicks. All a focus wheel does is if you find yourself in a negative state of mind or a negative thought, I want you to write down the opposite of that negative thought so that you write down what it is you want to attract instead of the negative thought. I want you to write down in the center of the focus wheel what the thought that you want to have is. And then this focus wheel is you start thinking like, if I were the person that believed I am a marathoner, for example. If I were a person who believed I could run a marathon, then you start writing all the thoughts that that person would be having. If I were a person who believed I was a $10 million producer in my head, or if I were a person that was a $10 million producer, these are all the thoughts that I would be having regularly. So that you could start to change your vibration and shift your thoughts away from what you don't want towards what you do want by realizing how somebody that's living as if should be thinking those thoughts. Don't worry about how, we've said this a million times in the last 5 weeks, you gotta trust, you have to surrender, and just know that you don't have to control how it's going to get there. You don't have to control how you're going to become a $10 million agent. All you have to do is control the thoughts that are going on in your head. Live as if you've already created that in your own life. Let the universe help you a little way. And then manifest your greatness. Here are my 5 simple steps to manifesting. Number 1, you have to have a vision of what it is you want. I've said that my vision, what I'm manifesting, is the #1 real estate brand in New England. We're going to be helping 20,000 families a year buy and sell real estate. We're going to have our sign on the back of the Green Monster at Fenway Park. That's what we're manifesting. You have to have a clear vision. If you have a murky vision of what you want in your life, you're going to have some murky results. So try to make a very clear vision. Expect to. So this is where people fail. You're not hoping that you're going to get what you want. You're not wishing that you're going to get what you want. You expect. There is a huge difference when it comes to manifesting between expecting, like knowing for certain. So for me, I have zero doubt we're building the #1 real estate brand in New England. We will be helping 20,000 families a year buy and sell real estate. I have zero doubt. I don't hope it. I don't wish that we can get there. I don't say maybe we can, maybe we can't. It's an absolute expectation. You will manifest in life what you expect. Have extreme gratitude every step of the way. There's going to be pitfalls. There's going to be failures along the way. Every single step of the way. Be grateful for what you've already manifested. Be grateful for what you're about to manifest. Pour your emotions into what it is you want. Remember, thoughts alone are not going to manifest. Thoughts plus emotions create reality. And then you got to be a participant. You got to wake up every day and hustle and go to work. Like you got to do some of the legwork. The universe is going to do most of it, but you got to also do a little bit of the legwork along the way. So the books we've covered throughout the past 5 weeks: Break the Habit of Being Yourself, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Wayne Dyer's The Power of Intention, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter, Promptings we spent a little bit of time on by Cody Bateman. His whole book is about the stories of your mind do become the stories of your life. And then, of course, Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. And that is it for our 5-part series, Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. If you have been doing this program and you begin to manifest some awesome stuff in your